Did you know that behind the bright colors and bouncy platforming of the original Spyro trilogy lies one of the most charming and surprisingly connected stories in 90s gaming? Most people remember Spyro as the little purple dragon who just runs around collecting gems. But the full story of the Insomniac trilogy actually builds a surprisingly consistent world across three games. And when you look at how the 2018 Reignited Trilogy changed things, some of those differences are bigger than you might expect. Today, we're going deep into the complete story, the lore connections, and how the classics hold up against their modern remake. All visuals in this video are original AI-generated art inspired by the series. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're into classic games with heart, you're in the right place. Before we get into the Spyro stories, let's quickly clarify what the Spyro Reignited Trilogy actually is. Released in 2018 by Toys for Bob and published by Activision, Reignited is not a sequel or a new story. It's a full graphical remake of the original three PlayStation games, Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon. It keeps the exact same levels, storylines, and core gameplay, but completely rebuilds the visuals in modern 3D with updated character models, lighting, textures, and animations. It also adds some quality-of-life improvements like better camera controls and a few minor gameplay tweaks. Think of it as the definitive modern way to experience the classic trilogy. Same heart and soul, but looking and feeling much smoother in 2026. With that out of the way, let's dive into the original games. Spyro the Dragon, released in 1998. It all starts in the Dragon Kingdom, a peaceful world divided into 5 homeworlds. The Artisans, the Peacekeepers, the Magic Crafters, the Beastmakers, and the Dreamweavers. One day during a TV interview, 2 elder dragons make some pretty rude comments about Gnasty Gnorc, a powerful Gnorc who had been banished from the kingdom years earlier. Gnasty overhears everything and snaps. He casts a powerful spell that traps almost every dragon in Crystal and turns their massive horde of gems into an army of minions. But here's the key detail. Gnasty completely misses Spyro, the smallest dragon in the realm, because he was off chasing sheep in the background. With the help of his loyal dragonfly companion Sparks, Spyro sets out on an epic journey across all 5 homeworlds. He frees trapped dragons, smashes through Gnasty's forces, and collects treasures along the way. The journey culminates in a dramatic confrontation in Gnasty's world, where Spyro faces the villain in a fiery boss battle high atop a junkyard fortress. The story is simple but effective. It establishes Spyro as the ultimate underdog hero and introduces the idea that even the smallest dragon can make a huge difference. This leads us to the second game and my personal favorite, Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, released in 1999. A few years later, Spyro and Sparks are pulled through a portal into the vibrant world of Avalar, a place filled with colorful creatures who had never even seen a dragon before. The culprit? A tiny but incredibly powerful sorcerer named Ripto, who has invaded Avalar and wants to wipe out all dragons because he's terrified of them. What makes this game special is how alive and beautiful each realm feels. You travel from the sunny, gem-filled hills of Glimmer, through the colorful and bustling autumn plains, into the snowy wonderland of winter tundra, and even the eerie volcanic Skelos Badlands. Each area has its own unique personality, music, and inhabitants, from friendly fawns and satyrs to quirky local heroes trying to fight back against Ripto's forces. Spyro teams up with the locals, solving problems, collecting orbs, and helping them while slowly tracking down Ripto. The journey builds nicely here, giving each realm its own stakes and charm. The climax takes place in a grand arena where Spyro finally faces Ripto in a multi-phase boss fight filled with magic and chaos that still feels epic and satisfying today. And finally, the third game, Spyro, Year of the Dragon, released in 2000. The third game expands the world even further. New dragon eggs have arrived in the dragon realms and everyone is celebrating, until the Sorceress, a powerful witch from another world, sends her apprentice Bianca to steal them all. Why? The Sorceress believes bathing in dragon eggs will grant her immortality. Spyro travels through brand new, breathtaking worlds filled with stunning variety. You explore lush, enchanted forests with glowing flora, mystical floating islands in the clouds, ancient sun-baked temples, frozen tundras sparkling under auroras, and even fiery volcanic realms. Each new homeworld feels alive and magical, with detailed environments, beautiful skies, and unique architecture that makes Avalar from the previous game feel like just the beginning. Spyro gets help from four memorable new playable characters: Sheila the kangaroo, Sergeant Bird the penguin, Bentley the yeti, and Agent 9 the monkey, each bringing their own flair to exploration and combat. The story gets darker and more emotional toward the end, with some genuinely touching moments, and concludes with a satisfying, large-scale confrontation against the Sorceress in her grand, ominous stronghold. A climactic battle that feels like a true finale to the trilogy. Now let's touch on the lore connections across the games. What's interesting is how connected these three games actually feel. Spyro grows from a cocky little underdog into a more confident hero. Sparks remains his loyal, and occasionally sassy, companion. The worlds feel like they exist in the same universe, even if the threats are completely different each time. There's also a running theme of the smallest one making the biggest impact, whether it's Spyro being overlooked by Gnasty, or him being the only dragon capable of stopping Ripto and the Sorceress. So how does the 2018 Reignited Trilogy compare? Visually, it's a massive upgrade. The worlds are gorgeous, the character models are expressive, and the lighting and particle effects are stunning. Many people who grew up with the originals say it finally looks how they imagined it in their heads. Gameplay-wise, Reignited makes some smart quality of life improvements: better camera controls with the right stick, unified mechanics across all three games, and some difficulty tweaks, especially making Spyro 1 a bit easier. However, some fans feel the originals have more charm and personality in certain animations and sound design. A few lines of dialogue were also slightly changed or censored. Overall, Reignited is the best way for most people to experience the story today, but the original trilogy still holds up remarkably well if you can look past the technical limitations. So what's the verdict? The original Spyro Trilogy is a masterclass in charming 3D platforming with heart. Each game improves on the last in terms of scope and storytelling. The lore isn't the deepest in gaming, but it's consistent, fun, and surprisingly cohesive for its time. In my opinion, it is an all-time classic series. Reignited makes the experience more accessible and beautiful without ruining what made the original special. If you've never played them, start with Reignited. If you're a longtime fan, both versions are worth experiencing. Which game is your favorite? Spyro 1, 2, or 3? And do you prefer the originals or Reignited? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Spyro lore, hit that like button and subscribe for more classic game stories and reviews. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there and keep chasing those gems.